Our kids were born at 28 weeks. You don't want to have a child that's born and they weigh 2 pounds and they don't know what's happening. And the first thing they have to do is fight for their life.
I'm going to get emotional about it now, but it was scary. It's just such a big life change. I feel like people get excited to have twins, but then having triplets is just a whole next level.
Yeah.
I saw a third baby from the very beginning. He's putting the thing over her belly. And I'm going, doctor,
He's like, what's that?
There's a third one.
He's
Did
like,
you
what's
say
that?
that?
He said that
yeah.
multiple times. And the doctor started kind of laughing because he's like, dude, like, there's 2.
What's the medical bill for 3 months in the NICU?
Guess.
$3 million.
Higher.
$5 million.
More.
Shut up.
Mom to mom, what is postpartum like after triplets?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I did experience a little bit of postpartum depression.
Do you guys think you're gonna have baby number 4?
It could be baby 4, 5, 6. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
4, 5, 6?
There's a chance.
Haylee and Mitch, welcome to the Unplanned podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you guys like ever fart in the hot tub? Is that ever something that you guys do? We were talking about farting in the hot tub, and then I felt like this was a
I
great
was saying
segue.
that I made a post where I was like, "There's bubbles in the hot tub, but this thing didn't have jets." And then like everyone's like, "Is
Dude.
this your way of saying you had gas?" I was like,
Just
"That's like
looking at Mitch,
idiot."
I already know Mitch has farted in the hot tub
If the
before.
jets are on, then yeah.
See, I was doing it with no jets.
Oh my gosh.
No
this
jets
is
is
a great
crazy.
introduction.
No jets is crazy.
No,
Psycho.
you guys are such positive people, and I swear, in your position, I might have developed a drinking problem because you guys have been through so much. You guys had 3 kids at the same time, and then you thought like your kids were gonna die at one point, and then that was not just one point. That was like multiple points along the journey where you thought like you were gonna lose a child. That's crazy.
You guys have been through a lot.
You guys are insane. I'm so inspired by you. Seriously, I really am.
Thank
You're
you.
so nice.
You're so
Thank
nice.
you.
And you guys have so much energy. Is it because this is your first time away from them, or are you guys always like this?
I drank a couple of energy drinks today already. It's probably not a good idea.
So this also is our first time away from them, and it's weird.
Don't make me cry.
Haylee, did you develop a energy drink addiction at one point in your life?
No,
Has.
just since I've had the triplets.
Currently.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hey.
I don't know. They taste really good. It's like my little treat. And I'm like, if this gets me through the day, that's okay. If
Heck
that's
yeah.
the worst thing I do to get me through the day, that's okay.
100%. You're a mom of 3 triplets.
Yeah.
I mean, if triplets means 3, so I didn't. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, thank you. But it does feel weird to be away from them. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was almost like a bittersweet thing where it's like, okay, like I can breathe for a second. You know, I can get away. But then it's like the first time ever in 2.5 years that I've left them alone. We're not alone, obviously. They're with my
Somebody.
yeah, somebody. But
They've never
they're
been
being taken
alone.
care of.
They've
but-
never been alone, everybody.
They're
They've
with
never
some
been
random
alone.
person,
But-
some like rando.
Yeah, they're okay.
Probably
They're
someone
okay.
that you've never met before. You probably just like use an app
Yeah.
and you're like, who's some random person that can watch my kids? you
Yeah,
know?
but it feels good. But yeah, I do miss them.
Oh my gosh.
This
it's
is the
good.
first time we've woken up and we didn't have to just go
Wait.
tend to a child.
Fight or flight.
Did you guys get like 7 hours of sleep? Like what
We
happened?
didn't even. We woke up at the normal time.
Yeah, what's so sad is I didn't even sleep in. My body clock woke me up because I'm used to Lennon waking me up every day. So I just wake up. I'm like, I didn't even sleep in. Gosh dang it.
Yeah.
Which kid wakes up the earliest?
Lennon, she's our little blondie girl.
Our middle child.
She has some
Our
sleep
middle child.
issues.
Yes,
our
our
middle
middle
child,
child.
technically.
Sleeping issues?
Yeah, she just screams in the middle of the night sometimes, and she always just wakes us up in the morning.
It's not like she doesn't have sleeping issues. She just doesn't sleep well. So
She's
like,
just not a good
Dang it.
sleeper.
she just wakes up first,
Yeah.
no matter what, and goes to bed last, no matter what. But she's totally fine. That's just what she does.
Oh my gosh, you're like, please just
I know,
I know,
please
please
sleep.
just sleep.
right.
Do you guys feel happy right now? Do you feel sad? Is it like a mix of both, being away from the kids?
It's both probably. Like I'm like, okay, we needed to have like a little getaway just for us to
Yes.
just like, I mean, every parent needs that, you know, their time
Yes.
together.
Totally.
And like for our marriage, just to, you know, our goal this year was to start getting out of the house and traveling more with the kids, without the kids, you know,
Yeah.
because we're finally past all their previous health issues. I guess we'll get into that later,
Yeah.
but we finally feel comfortable where we can get out of the house and trust other people
Yeah.
with the kids. So we're like, yeah, it's kind of a bittersweet feeling, you know, just being out, but then also kind of sad because I miss them.
I
Mitch,
know.
is it selfishly kind of nice that you have your wife's complete 100% attention right now?
Yeah, it's kind of nice. We've actually talked about it. Like, we're like, we need to focus. Maybe we should talk about that. But like, we are so focused on our kids 24/7. And this stemmed from when they were born because
Yeah.
they needed full attention because they were, like you said, like they were literally fighting for their lives every single day. And how many months total do you think when we looked at each other, like, we need to focus on each other way more, because we're being great parents, but we kind of neglected each other as spouses, which we just didn't anticipate happening because we were so stressed and worried about our kids.
I'm sure.
Well, it's just
You know?
survival.
Yeah,
Right? I mean,
totally.
like you're literally just trying to keep your children alive. That is it.
And I truly believe like every marriage has seasons. And it's like maybe, this isn't the season where we're like have a ton of energy left over, but it's like we still prioritize and have that. Are you guys able to have date nights ever, or is it still like too hard to get away?
I honestly, Mitchell's really good about planning date nights and like kind of sticking to it. And
At home
date nights are way fun. I feel like at the beginning, obviously, it has a season. We prioritize the kids a lot because they had so many health issues. We were too exhausted really to like prioritize each other in that moment. And we kind of realized that. We kind of had like a sit down moment, and we're kind of like, okay, we really need to somehow try and prioritize each other, even if it's just for an hour once a week, And so slowly that grew into at-home date nights, and he's really good at planning them. He does a good job, but
You're so much better at being a husband than me.
I don't know. I don't know.
So, and now it's like we're starting to incorporate babysitters and stuff. But yeah, for a while, they're almost 3 now. So, and how long ago did we start doing at-home date nights? Was it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like a year
ago, maybe?
year-ish,
Yeah. So.
That's so cute. What does an at-home date night look like for you guys?
Do you want to tell them what you do?
So I don't know. Like we did this when we were when we were just us two. What is that called? Dual income, no kids? Like, what is that called again?
Doink?
When we
Yeah,
worked
dual
through
income.
Dink.
A dink.
When we were dinks, meaning we had no kids.
That sounds like a derogatory
I
term.
know, dink.
We're dinks, man.
What were we talking about? The date nights. So we didn't have a lot of money, and we were saving like crazy because, we were just trying to make good choices, I guess. And we'd make like at-home pizza, something simple like that, and then we'd watch a movie to end the night. But instead of watching a movie on the TV, like I would always like try to like get a projector screen. I had a little one, and we'd like go and get a truck and go like put up a screen somewhere like somewhere random with
so
the view
cute.
and watch it there.
That's so
like
sweet.
nothing crazy, but we've always just done little things like that for day
Yeah,
night,
just
and
little
it's
things at
carried
home.
on till today. We still do that type of stuff.
That's so sweet.
You guys said there were multiple times in your journey of being triplet parents that you thought there might be a chance of one of your kids or multiple of your kids not making it. When you found out that you guys were going to be parents to triplets, did you have any clue how hard it was going to be?
We didn't know, obviously, because like we had never experienced that before. We didn't know anybody who had experienced triplets before, So, right when we found out, I was just in shock in that moment. And all I remember in the appointment was Mitchell asking me if I was okay. Like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Because I think I just kind of looked like a ghost. Mm-hmm. But in that moment, it's kind of funny. He was like so excited, like so pumped. Like, oh my gosh, we're going to have 3 kids. Because we were going through infertility stuff.
Yeah.
And so he was pumped, but like automatically, I don't know if it's just as a woman or just who I am. I just was like, oh my gosh,
that's a lot to process.
3 kids. Like, am I going to be healthy? Are they going to be healthy? I'm in my last semester of nursing school. Am I going to be able to do 100 hours of clinicals on my feet all day in my 3rd trimester with triplets?
100 hours.
100 hours of clinicals
on your feet, though.
On my feet all the time.
We're not talking about sitting down.
She's superwoman.
like
Did they let you sit? Did they let you like go around on like a chair? Like here we wheel it in.
At the end,
luckily
there's no other option.
They assigned me. I like worked close with my like professors and stuff, and I was like, hey, like I'm pregnant with triplets. Can you help me out a little bit? And they assigned me to the mom baby unit, and of course, all of the nurses there were like, oh my gosh, you're pregnant. Like, sit down, like, and it was nice actually because I got to work with a lactation specialist, like for milk supply and stuff. So she helped me a lot because I really wanted to breastfeed the triplets and like pump for them and stuff and provide breast milk for them. So they helped me with that. And I don't know, my brain just jumped to that, like, what are we going to do? Like, we needed a new car. It was just crazy finding out. And it's weird. I kind of feel bad sometimes looking back because for about 2 weeks, we were kind of, I don't like saying it. I hate saying this. We were kind of sad and like, I'm gonna get emotional about it now, but I just love them so, so much. And like to ever think that I thought that I was sad after all that we had gone through with infertility. And I'm so grateful for them, and they've changed my life. But yeah, like it was scary. Like it's just such a big life change. And no, like I feel like people get excited to have twins, and it's like normal. But then having triplets is just a whole next level.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, like I don't look back at that time though and like get upset with myself for thinking that, because all of those feelings are valid. But yeah, I just love them so much, and I'm so grateful for them.
I feel like that sadness too wasn't about your children, you know.
Yeah,
it was just like processing that whole change. And like that's how I feel too. Even like we had unplanned pregnancy with our second baby, and I think at that moment, like my first one out, I just cried and I wasn't excited for like a few weeks. And then I also felt that similar guilt. I'm like, especially when holding Augie now, I'm like, why would I ever cry when I hear about news of like getting to bring you into this world? And I was like, it's because it wasn't personal. It wasn't like about Augie, you know.
Yeah.
It was about, okay, well, life is going to look really different right now, and kind of just like grieving what you thought your life was going to look like in that, you know, the next little bit. But then you come out on the other side and you're like, this was way better than I ever could have even imagined. And you love them so much. So you're right, you cannot beat yourself up for like that feeling or feel guilty about it at
I
all.
felt the exact same way as you when I found out we were pregnant by surprise. Exact same way.
That's so crazy with 3 babies. And you thought they were twins at first.
Yes.
So what was that
tell
like?
the story of 1, 2, 3. We thought we were pregnant with 1, and then 2, and then 3. So like we basically went through like three
shocks
in the same day.
No, so
over a period of time, which made it even crazier.
So I had PCOS. I have PCOS. So like trying to get pregnant and all that process was really hard. And I was really tracking, and I found out I was pregnant. I was so excited. Obviously we were expecting 1 baby. We go in 2 weeks later to our 8-week appointment, and they do a scan, and the doctor just goes over my belly. Or no, that was different. But anyways, we went in and they checked it, and we saw 2 babies, but he said he saw another one in there.
I saw a third baby. I saw a third baby from the very beginning, because the doctor told us, he goes, you have twins.
Shut up.
And he's doing the, putting the thing over her belly. And I'm going, doctor, he's
like, what's that?
There's a third one.
He's like,
you
what's
say
that?
that?
He said that multiple times. And the doctor started kind of laughing, because he's like, dude, like, there's 2. I've confirmed there's 2. And Mitchell's like, no, I swear there's another one. And I'm like, and finally I'm like, Mitchell, he says that there's only 2. Like, it's okay. We have twins. That's so exciting.
I'll literally point at the screen and say, well, what's that? Well, what is that?
And what do they say?
That's nothing.
Dude, you're the reason, though, that they don't let you take pictures and videos in the appointments, because I wanted to take a video to remember it for ourselves, and the technician wouldn't let us, because people will freak out. They'll see like a third leg, a fourth leg, and they'll be like, oh, my kid is like gonna walk on all 4s or something. Like, people just come up with these crazy ideas. But it's funny that you were actually accurate.
You were actually right.
He was right.
You knew better than the doctor.
I brought it up like probably, this sounds crazy, like 10 times. Like, doctor, I see a third sac, because he was explaining, so like, here's
even
1 sac,
on the
here's 2
ultrasound.
sacs. On the ultrasound, you can see the third sac like in the corner, like barely. And I remember going home in the car, and I'm like, that's another sack.
Abby would have been like, shut up, Matt.
Yeah.
She didn't say that. She grabbed it, she's like, stop it.
We gotta, like, he's right.
There's
he's a doctor.
2.
And so
you're nice, though. You don't like, you seem like a really nice person, so you're like, please stop talking. Like, what did you say? Like, how
she
did
just
you?
gave me a little leg,
like, Mitchell,
little leg squeeze.
Hey.
Little squeeze. Is that your communication signal of like, shut up?
Stop.
Like, is it little
Just stop it.
leg squeeze?
No, but we so that was our 8-week appointment. And then with twins, you go in generally a little bit more, because I mean, it's twins, it's raises the risk a little.
Yeah.
And so we went back in, and then instantly we sit down, and he just puts the gel on.
It was actually
goes
a
over my
technician,
belly.
right? No, it was the doctor.
It was the doctor.
It was the doctor.
And he just goes right over like this, and it goes boop, 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 all 3. And then Mitchell's like,
and I immediately looked at the doctor, because I still have in my head.
and he's like, did you see that? Yeah,
Same doctor. I looked at the doctor. I don't even say anything. I just look at him like.
And he's like, I'm not going to say anything.
Because I see 3
because he's
again.
like, the doctor kept telling me to be quiet last night.
How many weeks had passed?
Only 2 weeks that we thought we were having twins. So we were in there, and then he goes, well, I'm not going to be able to see you guys anymore. And I was like, why is that? And I was worried about the babies. I'm like, oh, is something wrong with them?
I knew.
And he knew.
So I saw it again.
And then he's like, because you're having triplets. And then
I got chills immediately.
I was just like in shock, immediate shock. I don't know what else happened after that appointment. I don't remember anything.
Thank you to ZocDoc for sponsoring this portion of today's episode.
So I'm actually currently sick, if you can't tell by the sound of my voice, and I've used ZocDoc a ton in the past. It's been so helpful, and I just love that you don't have to leave the comfort of your own home.
ZocDoc is a free app, if you don't already know, and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. They have same-day appointments even, but typically it happens within 72 to 42 hours of booking, which is unreal. I feel like you can spend so much time driving and then waiting around, or you can't even get an appointment to begin with, and so it's nice how instant and helpful it is. We're talking about booking in-network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, primary care to urgent care, and so much more. We love ZocDoc. We've recommended it to so many people, including my own mom who used it last month, so we use ZocDoc and you should too. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/unplanned to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/unplanned. ZocDoc.com/unplanned.
I always talk about like what happened after, and she doesn't remember. And that
I don't remember.
So weird.
I was just like total shock.
I agree, because I feel like twins would feel like a cute shock, like exciting, and then triplets are like, oh, like my body, how could 3 grow up? Like I can, you're so petite.
Oh, you're so nice.
So petite. You're probably like, how are they all gonna fit in here? And like, oh, was it just fear or was it?
Everything just it hit me, everything hit me. Just our life changed so much in that moment, and so
you're
it was just shocking.
stoked?
And he was pumped.
Oh.
He's like 3 kids.
3 kids.
Let's go.
3 kids. That's all I could think of was 3 kids. I'm gonna take 3 kids to soccer practice, 3 kids to swimming lessons, three little best friends. They're never gonna get bullied because they have 2 best friends behind them at all times. Like that's all I was thinking about.
But it hit him later.
It hit me hard later.
Like it was a total switch. So I was really like scared at the beginning, and then I was
literally jumping up and down in the parking lot, like literally jumping up and down, like running, like back and forth like a dog, because I was just like, I'm having 3 kids. Are you kidding me? Like how amazing is this?
And then later that night,
That's probably what you needed in that moment. You probably needed like excitement.
Yes.
And then you guys swap.
Yes, it was good for us to not be feeling the same thing at the same time, because then it was kind of, later I could comfort him because he was dry heaving in the bathroom.
Wait, you were throwing up?
Nervous.
So this is what happened. So Haylee was not very excited, and it's totally understandable. But I was so pumped, and I remember we were at the kitchen table. We were at my parents' house. We were living there at the time, and I said, "Haylee, why are you not so happy?" And she said, "Because my health, baby A's health, baby B's health, baby C's health. We just bought a car, and it doesn't fit 3 car seats. We're not going to fit into our new home." And she just started naming off very real things that could happen.
Yeah.
And my attitude, I mean, it was the biggest 180 where I couldn't think straight. That night, she was sound asleep, literally in the bathroom, dry heaving.
Oh my gosh.
Because I'm like, what if Haylee's not healthy? What if baby A's not healthy? What if baby C, baby B, baby C, all of them? What if all 4 of them have, because this is a really serious deal. And the doctor actually let us know that. He goes, I need you guys to know like how serious this pregnancy is going to be. So all that hit me. So I literally dry heaving in the bathroom. We're at my mom's house. I didn't want to wake her up because I wanted her to sleep. So I was so worried about her. I'm worried about my wife, and I'm worried about my 3 kids that she's currently holding. Right. So I went up to my mom's room like a child, and I woke her up. My dad was out of town. I woke her up, and I just started sobbing.
Aww.
And she just sat with me at like probably 4 a.m. and just scratched my back and is saying, everything's going to be okay. Your kids are going to be healthy. Your wife's going to be healthy. As a 26-year-old,
I will say there's something to that. Like becoming parents where you just like feel like you just need your parents. Like
I just needed mom.
Yeah. I was like, I
Dude,
need you.
I started crying the other night. I'm going to cry again. Gosh dang it. Because I was thinking about like how much I love my kids. Oh, shoot. Right. I'm doing what my dad does. And just thinking about your mom, like telling you everything's gonna be okay, because our son recently was not doing, like, just having like really bad cough, and I was so worried about him. Like I drove at midnight to go get a humidifier to like make sure he was okay, and I was just worried sick about him, and he was just coughing. Like I'm worried sick about my kid coughing. Like it's not even a big deal. And I had this realization of like, my parents feel the same exact way like how I feel for my kids, they feel the same exact way for me. And it just made me feel so loved.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like hearing that your mom sat there and just said, everything's going to be okay. And just rubbed your back is like, that's the sweetest, most beautiful thing ever.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
My
I
mom's
love
amazing.
It. Oh.
She asked me, she goes, do you
awesome.
want to sleep in here or do you want to go downstairs with Haley? I went downstairs and slept with Haley that night. But yeah, she comforted me in that moment because I was absolutely terrified. And I also didn't want to stress her out even more because the doctor literally said, keep your stress levels low because that has an direct impact. So even that kind of was, I don't know. It was just crazy.
It was a crazy
that first week was
pregnancy,
so crazy.
Isn't that the worst advice though? Don't be stressed. Like that makes me stressed out. I'm like, okay, now I'm stressed.
I
Like you
know.
just told me not to be stressed.
I know. And it's like, I'm in my last semester of nursing school. Of course I'm going to be stressed. What do you want me to do? Like, I don't know what to do, you know?
Did you ever think about dropping out or were you like, I just have to finish?
I did think about dropping out, but I mean, a lot of people worked with me on things and like helped me take it easy. And I think a lot of it was online too. I think I had a lot of classes online. So like I worked in my bed a lot, you know.
But
like
your clinicals was...
But my clinicals was in person. But they, like I said, they were still really good about... I mean, I still had to do a lot. Like you still have to learn everything, you know. But they were really helpful to me to like let me like sit down when in the rooms and, you know. It was nice.
Has that background been helpful at all with your own children?
Extremely helpful. I honestly, it's such a blessing that I had the knowledge that I had because I mean, all of our kids came home on oxygen. We dealt with feeding tubes. We dealt with, I mean, they were in the NICU for 3 months. So, I mean, Mitch and I were taking, like, we wanted to know what to do when we got home. So we made sure that while we were there, we were learning everything. Like we honestly, you became a NICU nurse while we were there. Like he learned so much.
That's so cool.
So it was really good to
3
have that
months
knowledge.
in the NICU, is that typical for triplets?
So triplets typically, I would say, come around 32 weeks, but our triplets came at 28 weeks. And the difference, like 4 weeks, if you imagine how much a baby grows in 4 weeks, it's huge. So like, I mean, they were like on oxygen and so many cords while they were there. They were in those incubators. They couldn't be exposed to too much light. There was a lot more that went into 28 weeks, like taking care of 28 weekers than, you know, like 32 or, you know, like the smaller they get, the more care that they need.
Tell them about like Haley went into labor and they couldn't stop it. And usually when triplet, because there's a small triplet community that we were a part of asking questions, and all of them had examples of when we went into labor, you go into the hospital and they somehow stop it or slow it down for like weeks.
Yeah, like there's ways to prevent, you know, labor from happening, but like mine just wouldn't stop. Ugh. And so they tried everything, and I was on magnesium. I don't know if you've ever been on magnesium or like all that stuff, and it was horrible, but they couldn't stop it, and we knew where they were coming. So
wait, on magnesium? I don't think that's like what I was on.
Is it magnesium? I think that's what it is. They put you on something and it messes with your body. It like makes you sweat a lot and like.
And it's to help the baby's brain.
Oh, I didn't have
that.
Yeah,
it's like, and steroids to help the baby's brains and lungs.
Oh wow, because they were like thinking that they weren't going to be able to get the labor stopped.
Yeah, they didn't. It's just taking precautions, just in case. And so they gave me all that stuff, and they just couldn't stop it, and so they came, and it was, I mean, super stressful, but I'm just happy we are where we are now because they're all healthy and doing well. I mean, Lennon is still on oxygen because she still has her little, when you're born early, you have lung issues and you eventually grow out of them, but she's just so tiny. I think it's just taking her some more time. But so I'm grateful that I was a nurse because honestly, it's helped so much in taking care of them.
I'm sure. That's so cool. Do you think that is like why you went into nursing, or do you think you will end up actually practicing?
Honestly, like I feel like everything happens for a reason, and as of right now, I'm loving being mom, you know, so I don't know. I love nursing. I love the field. I love taking care of people, but we'll see. I don't know yet.
Yeah. Who knows?
That is pretty nice though, to have a medical background and understand like, oh, if my kid's having this problem, I should do this. But what's nice for us though, Mitch, is ChatGPT.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
That
god.
has been
I could
so
either
helpful.
ask ChatGPT or Haley, and both have the answer.
I've been driving Abby crazy. She's like, stop talking.
You
to
the
AI.
things that you search, so I'm like, this is an opinion question. Like, why are you relying on ChatGPT?
Oh, I use it for everything.
Oh, I do too. We were on the plane yesterday to come here, and they started spraying down our plane with something. And I was like, what in the world
It
are
freaked
they?
us out.
It scared us. I'm like, something's seriously wrong with the plane. And we're still on the ground, and I was still scared. But then I asked ChatGPT, why are they spraying my plane right now? I'm in Salt Lake City. And I said, oh, it's because the weather is this degree, and they're probably using this thing so the plane doesn't freeze in the air. It just knows everything.
So nice. I love it.
It helped me with my son the other night because I was up till 3 a.m. worried sick about him because he was coughing a lot in his sleep. And I thought he sounded like he might be developing symptoms of croup. I had croup when I was a 7-year-old, which is like later than most kids get it. But I got rushed to the ER because I couldn't breathe. I sounded like a walrus. Like every single breath was like, like it was like really scary. So I just did not want to be in that situation with my son. And AI like walked me through what to do. Like I was like, okay, apparently it helps if I have a humidifier. So I went and bought a humidifier,
Wow.
put it in his room. Then it's helpful if it's colder in the house. So I made it 68 degrees so that he could sleep better. So yeah, dude, I feel you, bro. Like AI is amazing.
So you
It's the future.
You can,
It's
either
the
use,
future.
you can either use AI or ask your nurse wife. She
AI
also
price.
has the answer to a lot of stuff.
I don't know. I'm starting to forget things. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, but it was helpful because we had to place feeding tubes in there that went through their nose into their belly.
What?
And
Wait, you guys did that yourselves?
she
Yeah.
did that. Yeah.
Is that typical for most triplet parents? You have to know to put a
I don't-
feeding tube down
well,
your kid's
tell me
nose?
what
Yeah.
it's like having 28-week kids.
So honestly, Mitch and I talk about this all the time because we can relate more, I feel like, to people who like parents who have premature kids than parents who have triplets. Right now, I feel like I can relate more to parents with triplets because it's busy and it's crazy. But at 28 weeks, like having a 28-weeker is so much harder than having triplets. Just because they require, so much. We had to place feeding tubes because they weren't eating. Like at certain weeks when you're in the womb, you develop reflexes, like a sucking reflex, for example, but the triplets didn't develop that. So they had to learn it outside.
They had to learn how to eat. They had to learn how to breathe. They had to learn how to go potty. Like, yeah.
Like their bodies weren't ready to come
Their
out
bodies
yet.
weren't ready to do any of those things. So when they're born, they were walking us through, like, they're going to have to learn how to do everything. Breathe, go to the bathroom, suck, swallow, breathe, which is eating. They couldn't, and we had to do that with them because they wanted the parents to have that
We had to
bonding
learn
moment,
how
and not the doctor or the nurse. And the medical staff was incredible, but they told us, like, this is what we need to do, and that was the hardest thing.
It was so hard. And the growth was extremely important too. So when you're that little, like
How little were they?
they're 2 pounds each. So
Like, imagine your hand with like the arms and the feet hanging off.
that's how tiny they were.
That was our 3 kids.
Wait. Okay, so like, yeah, my hand, head here, feet here. So it's like
So
basically
the head would be
like
right here,
the feet kind of dangling off.
and the feet are just kind of dangling off your hand, and the arms.
that
There-
is the teeniest tiny baby I could ever imagine.
Yep.
Yeah, literally,
2
I
pounds.
remember taking a picture. I have a picture of my pinky next to
And this
Tommy's
is when they were a little grown.
arm, next to her arm. Like, yeah, when they were, 32, 34 weeks. And it was the size of her arm, my pinky.
Your pinkies, that is like the
Tiny.
smallest pinky I've ever seen. Wait, whose pinky is smaller, Abby's or yours? You guys, that's like, you guys have the same size pinky.
No, I actually got a lot of DMs the other day that I said I had fat fingers.
Okay. Sensitive subject.
It just kind of rolled off.
Breathing though. So your children had to learn how to breathe after they were born. They didn't learn, like they, how long did it take them to learn how to breathe when they were born at 28 weeks?
Long time.
Yeah, until they came home. So
Well,
3
technically no,
months.
because they came home on. Well, they were.
They were breathing though, but
yeah.
like they were on. There's levels of oxygen that you can get on.
Okay.
So like some of them are like help you breathe on your, like it's just the
It's
machine.
like the machine is breathing
The
for
machine is breathing for you, and then there's
was that
others.
the kids? Like were they?
when they were very first born.
Lennon, I think, was on it when she was first born, but there's just levels, and so like
Okay.
they graduated to different levels as they were in there, but they still needed oxygen therapy because they still needed more oxygen, So, but the craziest part of being in the NICU was the feeding. And like, it was just crazy because you have to feed preemie babies a certain way or else they can choke.
It's so precise how you have to feed a premature baby.
And you can't feed them all at once because you have to be individually holding that baby on their side, propping their head a certain way,
the
holding
angle
the
has to
bottle.
be at an exact same a perfect angle so they don't get too much milk. Like, it was
crazy. And it took 30 minutes per kid, and then Lennon took 45 minutes to feed each time. So even coming home, Mitch and I would rotate every 3 hours. We would start feeding the babies. And then by the time we were done feeding each child and then me pumping, we were going to start all over again in an hour.
What's the medical bill for being in the hospital for 3 months?
You know, right?
I think it
Three.
Guess. Can we have you guys guess?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, hold up. So 3 children in the hospital
For 3 months.
for 3 months.
With a lot of intensive care.
And
Oh,
a lot of
gosh.
specialists came to visit, cardiologists, like pulmonologists.
I want to say when I had a tumor as a kid, I want to say my bill before insurance was $1 million. So I'm going to guess $3 million for the 3 kids
Higher.
total. Shut up. Shut
What do you
up.
think? What do you think?
Wait, is it?
I was not even going to guess that high.
This is before insurance. This is before insurance, right?
Yes.
This is just the
Thank
total.
No, we're
God.
not paying this.
Thank God for insurance, dude.
Yes.
Well, some people don't have insurance.
No, it's so
Well,
sad.
Some people are too poor to afford insurance, and then they're the people that got really screwed, even though they never had money in the first place.
Yeah.
What's crazy is that this bill was so out of control that a social worker came in from the government, right?
Yeah, once it gets to a certain point, the government steps in and just funds
Because the
it all,
insurance
'cause-
company can't, I mean, they could pay for it, but it hurts them so bad too that they said, hey, like, this is now going to be 100% covered by the federal
way.
government. Like, don't stress about this stuff. So that was a huge stress
Wait,
relief.
that's really good. That actually gives me hope about humanity. That
Yes.
somebody did that.
So
Yeah.
we didn't have it. We actually didn't pay a dime. But what was
Can
the
I
total?
Wait, can I guess again?
Yeah.
I want to see if I
One
can
more,
get
yeah. Let's hear
closer.
Thank you to Needed for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. Matt, this is a quiz for you because we've talked about Needed before on our podcast. And remember, we started off by saying what percentage of pregnancies are unplanned pregnancies?
50%.
You were really close.
Okay.
40%.
That's a lot.
So that's why it's never too early to start thinking about improving your fertility. And that's why we're excited to talk about Needed. Needed is a women-owned brand that offers a complete nutritional system for fertility, pregnancy, postpartum, and women's health. Everything from egg quality to support for women who are trying to conceive to a lactation support plan for breastfeeding moms, and even to stress and sleep support that supports all women, including those in perimenopause or menopause. Needed is a collective of more than 6,000 practitioners working together to set a radically better standard for women's health. There's so many things that doctors are just like, hormones, and you're like, well, that doesn't really help me, and that's not actually a legitimate answer for these symptoms we're feeling. And that's why I love that Needed is woman owned, and they're just doctors that are looking to support women through healthy pregnancies or whichever stage of life you're in. I also think it's really cool that they have sperm support, because a lot of the fertility problems get placed on women where men also play a very important role in fertility. So I love that they're thinking about it from that side too. There's so much on the journey to parenthood that you can't control, but nutrition is a big one that you can. Head to thisisneeded.com and use code UNPLANNED for 20% off your first order.
Okay, I'm going to say $5 million.
More.
Shut up.
7.
What?
$7 million.
$7 million.
Did you get an actual
Seven.
bill for that, or
Yes.
was it all separate?
I need to find it because it's insane. I mean, each time that they had a cardiologist visit for one kid,
You
it was like
guys.
$100,000.
It was so much money,
crazy.
and there's no way we could have ever paid that. And that's the other thing is when doctors are coming in, like, we know there's a price tag to all this stuff, but when you're in that moment, it doesn't matter. Like, even if we're gonna go
No.
$1 billion in debt, do it.
Of course.
Save
Oh, yeah,
my
anything.
kids' lives, please.
Oh,
So-
dude, same. I would be like, bro, $1 billion. All right, where do I
Yeah,
sign? Like,
we'll
this is
figure
gonna
it
save my
out.
kid's
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
I will be a slave to you for
Uh-huh.
the rest of my life. You save my kid, we're
Yeah.
good. Like,
Yeah.
Abby and I were talking about the other day. I was like, I'll chop my arm off.
No,
for my
we
kid.
literally go and have debates. I'm like, would you, I don't know, slice your foot off with no anesthesia for now? Like, why am I doing this?
It's like,
to
well,
make
I'll
your kids'
slap-
cold go away.
Yeah.
I'm talking to my friends. I'm like, would you kill someone with your bare hands for this? And I'm like, they're like, yeah.
I would kill someone with my bare hands for my kid. I would. Someone threatened my kid.
No, we talk about this all the time. There's a viral video where people are like saying, like, new moms now are like, no, murder is wrong. And I'm like, yes, but your children.
Yeah.
All morals out the door.
I
Save
know,
the
it's
kid.
weird.
Yeah.
It's weird, though, unconditional love, like how pure that is to
my
the
gosh.
kids. Like,
Yeah.
no
Oh
matter
my
what they
gosh.
do, like, don't know. They're starting to get feisty.
And
And they come
do
back at
naughty
me with
things,
this little attitude. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just love you. Like, you're the
I
cutest
hope-
little thing ever.
I hope one day you guys show them like some videos from the NICU, and you're like, "We love you so much." I hope that you guys show them that, and they realize like the amount of time you spent just loving on them.
Oh,
like
we
because
lived
you don't
there.
realize it when you're a kid. You have no idea. Even like, it was funny is like I would say I had good parents. Like even if you have bad parents, like even a bad parent has to do some sort of something to like help you in some way, you know. It's like maybe they put food, maybe they sucked, but maybe they kept you fed, you know, like that counts for
Yeah.
something, you know. So I mean, you guys are the ultimate amazing
Were you
people.
just?
You guys are
Oh,
nice.
go ahead.
I was gonna say Haley's just the ultimate mom. Like our kids were born at 28 weeks, and like they went through a lot. Like they literally fought for their lives. And you don't want to have a child that's born and the first thing they have to do is fight for their life, and they weigh 2 pounds and they don't know what's happening, and they have all these millions of cords connected to them, and they're just in the incubator, and they can't even have lights on because it's too much. The temperature has to be perfect. And Haylee just was the world's greatest mom. And the reason why they're thriving so much is because Haylee just works with them to this day 24/7 on their speech, on developmental skills. And we have, what is that called when people come and like help us more?
We had like speech therapists and stuff.
Speech
come to the house.
therapists and like people that help with like everything, movement. And they said like for 28 weekers and triplets on top of it, they're thriving. Like this is a case study of how your kids should develop being born that young. And like this is just a miracle. And I always just look at it, it's like it's her. She is with those kids 24/7, helping them talk, helping them move, and she would do exercises with their legs so their legs would function the right way. She's the world's greatest mom. And I can't believe that I married her, and I can't believe she's the mom of my kids. Like I'm so lucky.
You're making me cry.
Well, I think you're the world's greatest dad.
I was
Thank
just
you.
gonna come back and say that. Like, I just can't believe how good of a dad Mitchell is. I mean, he's talking all these things about me, but like, I feel like it's generational too. Like, dads are just more hands-on now, and I mean, he was totally fit to be a dad. Like, I couldn't have gone through it without him for sure. Like, we needed both of us there, and I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just crazy where our life is now, and it's so great.
Yeah. Triplets is
Sorry,
the best
so
thing ever.
emotional.
Yeah. We literally told each other, like, let's not cry. We have to be cried like
I'm
5
like,
times.
As soon as you saw me over here.
No, it's okay. I think like the beautiful thing about talking about stuff like this is it's just going to help so many people. It's going to give people so much perspective, whether they have gone through something like you guys have gone through or will in the future. And like, I don't know, it's good to have perspective, because for me as a new dad, when things were really hard, I didn't know what the frick I was doing. And I like believed this lie. Like, I thought things were going to be hard forever. You know, I don't know if you guys ever thought, like, when you were in the NICU, I don't know if you ever felt like that was like where you were going to be for the rest of your life. Like, it ever felt like this will never end. And it probably was really, really, really hard.
Well, we don't talk about this like ever. I don't even know if you've ever told like your following, but you should tell them about the news that we got in the NICU when they did those scans.
I don't want to get super into it, but I mean, we did get really bad news in the NICU that our kids could possibly have cerebral palsy, which was so...
Not possibly. They did. That's what they told us.
Yeah, it was... And there was different levels of it too. Like that they told us that they were going to have a movement disorder, and which was so hard. It was the worst news we'd ever gotten in our whole life. And like somehow today they just are healed. Like they don't have any issues whatsoever, and we don't know how that happened.
They did the brain scan, and they came back and told us, and they said, "Hey, your kids are going to have this disability, and it could be anywhere from, they have an arm that has some movement issues, or they could be completely crippled." And I've gone through some things in my life where I lost my dad at a young age. I lost my best friend right after high school. Just way too much death has happened in my family. There's a list, and I don't know why that's happened to me, but having that news that your child could deal with something like that was the worst thing I've ever heard. So I look at parents who have kids with, you know, whatever they're going through, a disability, whatever it is. And I think that those parents are the world's greatest humans. To be able to raise kids like that and to be patient enough. Like, I look up to those people so much. And I think the world of them. Like, I see parents out there, you know, pushing a stroller around with a kid who is disabled. And I look at Haylee every time. I'm like, that is probably the world's greatest mom or dad for being able to do that. Cause I don't think I could.
You're
It's
so
just
right.
utter selflessness. Wow. Receiving that news had to be, I mean, you guys took so many crazy things. Were you just in a constant state of stress for a while there?
Yes.
Do you feel like you're still kind of operating at that, or there's like
No.
a point?
No, I feel like starting last year I think it was January of last year that we were like, I feel like I can breathe finally. Like, they're growing, they're healthy. Like, we made it past all the health challenges. Like, we're okay. Like, we finally realized we were okay. And I remember that January of last year was like, okay, we can do this. Like, we got through this hard stuff. Now, like, let's just be parents and let's have fun. And that's one thing that I wish could have gone back as a mom and just told myself, like, everything is going to be okay. Take in these moments with them, even though it's hard, as the health challenges, all these difficulties, even though it's hard, take in these little moments when they're so tiny and so cute. Like, each moment as a mom, I just want to take it in and just realize where I am, because I'm always stressed about something, or like, and so I don't know, just taking advantage of those times, because they're only little for so long. And I'm sure you guys feel that too.
Totally.
I mean, they grow so fast. It's
Yeah,
so sad.
it's so fleeting. Like, those moments, it's like, and it's so crazy how fast you forget. Like, you know, it changes you forever. But you're like, I just can't remember. I don't remember like going through that, because you're just like, you're so focused on the mission that it's just like, you're not even thinking about how you're feeling. You're like, okay, well, go. And I can't even imagine like your experience too. But I've heard this conversation a lot recently about like stress and like our nervous system. And I feel like that period of time had to have like a lasting effect on your nervous system. And now you have 3 like thriving children.
Yeah.
Like, what is life like now? Do you sleep? Do you like, are you guys constantly having colds, or like someone always puking or getting into trouble? Like, what's it like? 3 2-year-olds is so, I told Matt on the way here, I was like, that's so fun.
It's so fun.
So fun.
They're talking now too. It's like my favorite stage ever.
Oh, isn't that the best?
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know. For me, the newborn stage is kind of just keeping them alive. But like when they're talking with you, it's incredible. I mean, it's incredible. There's nothing better. There's nothing better.
It's amazing. And what I love more than anything right now is them interacting with each other.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like, them talking to each other, bossing each other around. Like, I don't know. It's hilarious.
Do they fight? I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh really? Yeah.
Oh yeah, they fight like crazy. They're just. I mean, it's just what you would think. I always tell people that what is it like having 3 2-year-olds? I'm like, whatever you're thinking, it's probably pretty accurate. It's just chaos.
Did the sisters gang up on your son?
Yes.
It's so sad, you guys. Oh my god.
We have to be easy on him.
No, you have to be easy on him.
He's
It's
just a boy.
The girls are feisty. They're so feisty, and it like, oh my gosh, it's so sad. But sometimes he gets left out, you guys, and it makes me so sad. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
It
Hopefully,
does.
I mean, they're all close. Like, there's been
No,
phases.
they're all 3 best
close.
friends. Yeah.
They're all close, but
the
sometimes
girls have
the
a little
girls kind of
connection.
like, split
I will
off.
tall you, the girls like at the playground are kind of feisty. They tell Griffin. Griffin just like walked over, was just like looking. He didn't touch anything that they were playing with, and they said, "Get away, get away." And I was like,
So blunt.
he just wasn't offended. He was just like, "All right, like,
Yeah. Oh my god.
get away."
I feel like your son is going to be so emotionally intelligent, though, because I grew up with 2 brothers, and then my mom is an engineer, and she basically, like, my dad's the sensitive one, and my mom's the one who's like the enforcer around the house, okay? Yeah. So like, I just did not understand women very much, because my mom is not like the typical, like, she was just never emotional. And so like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like your son's going to be like set up to be like a really good husband.
Oh yeah.
He's definitely the most sensitive.
And he's the cutest little kid. Like he loves cooking with us. Anything that we're doing, it doesn't matter. He wants to help.
Yeah.
So he's always helping. Like I'll be like putting on the sheets to the bed, and he's just like, da 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 da, like I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but please show me
He's
how
like,
to
"Put
do
me in,
this.
coach."
I
Put
want
me
to do
in.
it. He loves shaving. We bought him a little toy shaver, and anytime I'm shaving, he'll just, with his toy shaver, he'll be doing this. He's so fun. All three of them are amazing.
Okay,
say-
isn't it crazy how your kids copy everything you do?
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Because I play with Abby's hair because that's something that she loves. That's her love language.
The
My
other
son-
day, Griffin started doing
Playing with
this
your hair?
on my
Stop.
hair, and I was like, oh, like
How
it was so
sweet.
sweet. And then the other day, I came downstairs, and he says, "You're beautiful, Mama."
Oh my
So
gosh.
sweet. And I was like, I had such a big reaction. He said it again. He goes, "You're beautiful." And I was like, Matt, it's so crazy how he's looking to you so much and wanting to, replicate. And that's also such a heavy responsibility, but it's so
Yes.
cool. But he's probably seeing you help do all these things, and he just wants to do exactly what you're doing. And it's so cool that you guys are setting such amazing examples for them too.
Oh.
Thank you.
That's
Every
sweet.
parent though, it's just it does put more responsibility for us. It's like, oh my gosh, we really got to pick up our game because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
watching every move now.
For sure.
But it's hard when you're exhausted. It's hard to be
Yeah.
a good parent when you are not getting sleep at night. I mean, maybe that's just for me. For me, if I don't get a full night's rest, it just leaves me, I don't know, maybe just not as present. I don't if I'm ever angry, I don't like to take that out on other people. I just keep it inside, but I just get really quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But even being really quiet is not the best version of myself because then I'm not being present. I'm not talking. I'm not communicating. How do you guys stay being great parents when you're exhausted?
That's
That's
a
a
good
really good
question.
question.
I don't know. This is so random, but the first thing that came to my head is getting up before the kids get up. For me, and getting to the gym for some reason makes my day 10 times better.
Really?
I don't know if that was the response you were looking for, but I honestly getting my workout in and getting my energy up in the morning. I wouldn't just say the caffeine, that also helps.
Yeah.
But it just helps me become a better productive parent, I feel like. And gets my energy, any frustration I have out. I mean, they always say that working out's good for you, but
No, there's
I've
science to
grown
that,
to
though.
love it,
I Abby has encouraged me to work out. She hasn't told me to. I've just seen her go to the gym 5 times a week, and I'm like, oh, I should probably go
amazing.
more than once a week. And there's something to be said about even if you're exhausted, you go work out. As long as you don't kill yourself in the gym, because I used to go so hard I'd be just dead the rest of the day. But you push yourself at a moderate pace. You get all this dopamine released in your head. You feel better. I like that. That's really cool.
Yeah,
I
that
think
helps
the
me.
double side for that too is maybe just doing something for yourself, so you're ready to go before you go and serve your children all day, basically. And I think there's something definitely to that, fill yourself up so then you can go and
there's also something ingrained in her that, because when they were newborns, there was no time for the gym. We were
oh, totally.
we were sleeping. There was a baby up 24. There was one baby or 3 babies or 2 babies awake at all
It was
times of the day.
chaos.
Not exaggerating. There was a baby awake at all times of the day for months and months and months. So someone was awake. So
Did you guys have a in-law or parent move
yes,
in to help?
we moved in with my parents, which was I don't know how
we
we
wouldn't
could have
have
done
been
it
able
without
to
him. Yeah.
get through it without him.
So they would do shifts with us, and that would help a lot. But yeah, but what I was saying is, even with that, and Haylee didn't have time to do anything for herself, she still was just this superhero mom. And I'm like, how are you? Because I was absolutely exhausted, literally running on fumes. I was never at the point in my life until I had triplets where I could fall asleep standing up, is what it felt like.
Literally.
But she just kept going. I'm like, how are you still going? So what I'm trying to say is, there's something inside of you. Maybe it's all moms that just keeps going. And I don't know. I don't think I have that when they were newborn, but you definitely did, where you could go 24/7.
Thank you to Lumi for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. I go to the gym 5 days a week, and then I go and run errands. And that can be a real recipe for disaster and for not making friends, because I am sweaty and stinky afterwards, and I'm just out in public everything's okay. But the reason I can do that is because I love Lumi's whole body deodorant And they also love these body wipes that are really, really nice. I just throw them in the center console of my car, wipe down the pits, wipe down everything that's sweaty, and I can be on my way. It was actually created by an OBGYN who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Their deodorant has been proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. And their new one that has the sweat control in it has the same 72-hour odor control plus also 72-hour sweat control, which is incredible, especially because we live in a hot climate. We're active people. We're chasing toddlers around. If that doesn't make you work up a sweat on its own, you're doing something differently than we are. And Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like maybe the mini body wash or those deodorant wipes I was talking about, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack. Use code UNPLANNED for 15% off your first purchase at lumideodorant.com. That's code UNPLANNED at LUMEDEODORANT.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Lumi.
But Haylee, there was a point though when you were in the hospital, you just freshly birthed 3 human beings, and I saw you said on social media that you felt like you failed them for some reason. Like it must have been like some sort of like motherly instinct where even though you were doing so much and you were, like birthing babies, like I think you guys did a FaceTime call, right? For you to see them because you couldn't even get out of bed. You were stuck in bed.
Yeah. I hemorrhaged. I had a postpartum hemorrhage. So like I just had lost so much blood that I couldn't even stand up in the first 24 hours to go down to stand up to get into a wheelchair. Like I couldn't even sit up in a wheelchair. Maybe it was just like mama bear activated. You just don't know anything else, as a mom. I was just like, okay, like this is my life now. Like I need to do anything I can to, provide for these kids and make it happen,
Mm-hmm.
How did you go from immediately after giving birth feeling those feelings to then going to being this super mom that's like waking up before her kids wake up and working out and taking care of yourself? Because it seems like you needed to find some way to embody self-care in order to be the best mom for your kids.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't remember what point in time, but I felt like I was so overwhelmed with like being a mom. I was like, okay, I need to take some time for myself and just like start doing, even if it's little things, just doing little things for myself. And like you've had those times, Mitchell's had those times too, where it's like, okay, just get out of the house, like take time for yourself. And then, you become a better parent when you prioritize yourself too, And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't think there was a specific time that it really happened in like the switch, but I did feel like when I said that I felt like I failed my kids was because of my body going into labor at 28 weeks. I felt like I had failed them in some way, even though I know it's not my fault. But like, there are those times when mom guilt kicks in, and I just felt like I was failing them. But yeah, I don't know a specific time where I was just like, oh, now I'm just like, go get her mom,
Yeah.
It was just kind of, it happened gradually, I guess.
And Mitch, when did you start feeling your best self again? Like what type of switch took place for you to feel like I don't know, like when did you start practicing self-care, and what was that self-care? Was it the gym for you, or was it something different?
Yeah, I felt like when they were born that I just like, I didn't do anything but just focus on them and worry about them, to the point where it was very unhealthy for me. I lost so much weight because I wasn't eating, because we had to go get dinner or go get lunch out of the hospital, and I had dad guilt of, if I leave the hospital and go get Chick-fil-A, whatever, that's an hour away from my kids, and they need us there. They always said, be here as much as possible because they hear your voice, and holding them is really important for a premature baby and all babies. So like when I started to do self-care and really focus on myself more was probably like a year ago. They were probably a year and a half years old. Yeah. Like it took a while to start, doing things on my own, like, going on a run, or even, going to the gym or hanging out with some friends at night. Like everything I felt guilty about was.
Well, I will say too, all parents in general, if you feel guilty about anything, it means you're a good parent. Like if you feel guilty like doing something, it just means that you're a good parent because you're worried about your kids. Like if
That's good.
you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. There's so many times where like, oh my gosh, am I a bad mom because like I'm taking time for myself? But it's like, no, that makes you a better parent, prioritizing yourself because you're trying to put energy into yourself to
Yes.
make you a better parent.
It's like putting the mask on an airplane if there's ever a drop in cabin pressure, so that then you can help your kids. Because if you first help your kids, but then you pass out because you're not breathing, your kids can't bring you back. And guess what? Your kids need you. So it's literally, I think whenever I think about self-care, I think about literally whenever the flight attendant on an airplane says, hey, remember, put on your mask first, and then once you're helped, you can help other people. I feel like that is a perfect analogy to life. You cannot help other people unless you first help yourself.
I agree.
And you can, but there's a limit to it. And you burn out and you're done, and then you're no longer to help. And then you're no longer able to serve.
Yeah.
Mom to mom, what is postpartum like after triplets?
Oh my gosh. I think that I did experience a little bit of the postpartum depression, but I don't know if it was because my kids were in the NICU and we were going through all that traumatic stuff, or if it was like actual postpartum depression, or if it was just like depression in general, you know. But I think that my body just kind of went into fight or flight in that moment. Like I said, like just mama bear. I was just doing anything. Like it's kind of just like the switch went off of me, and it's like, it doesn't matter. Like I don't matter. It's just them. Like I just did anything to help them.
And you're recovering from a C-section.
I was recovering from a C-section, and surprisingly, even though I did like have that postpartum hemorrhage and stuff, I recovered relatively quickly.
Superwoman.
No,
It was the doctor's like, how on earth are you walking right now? It was
but
crazy.
I was surprised. Like after hearing other experiences about C-sections, like I was surprised. I don't. And yeah, looking back, I don't remember any of that. Like I just remember the NICU with the kids. So
Wow.
Is Haley's love language words of affirmation?
No, yours is like, is it service? That's your biggest love
I
language?
don't
Like,
know. That's a good question.
I think it's service, like not like service. That one's always like weird when people say it, but like you really like when I open the door for her, like that means a lot to her.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I love
Yeah.
that. So yeah.
Or like if you made breakfast for the whole family and
Yep.
like
Yeah,
got her
I like that.
coffee.
Things like
that would
that
mean a lot to her.
She loves it.
We're the exact same way.
Would you agree with that? I
Yeah,
hope that.
probably. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I think so. Yeah.
Do you know what mine is?
Words of affirmation.
Yeah, probably. I think
Words of
yours is
affirmation,
words
right?
of
Am I
affirmation.
wrong?
No.
Wait, I'm wrong. What's
Wait,
yours?
is yours physical touch?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
My-
Well,
yeah.
okay, I feel like every guy says physical touch, but like I feel like there's a difference between like intimacy and physical touch.
Yes.
Because
I-
like Abby's is physical touch, so she loves it when I play with her hair. She doesn't want to get laid. She just wants to play with her hair.
I know exactly what you're saying. I love it when Haley scratches my back. It's my
Yes.
favorite thing in the entire world.
Okay.
Like things like that. Like
Yeah.
that's my love language. To me, it's like, oh, she's in a good mood because she's scratching my back right now, or like I don't know. Yeah, does it fully mean just intimacy? Just
Okay, that makes
Totally.
sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense because
That's-
every guy's like, I love physical touch. It's like, no, you don't. Okay, it's not. It's like you're actually words of affirmation, you idiot. Like that's mine. That's because
Yeah.
like I like to give compliments because I like to receive compliments.
Yeah.
So that's I completely misdiagnosed you. I was like, this is my fellow words of affirmation
And now
guy.
I wonder if it is. We need to do
I
that
feel like-
test.
yeah, we haven't even
Because
looked into that.
we didn't even know each other's what
we
it
just
was.
barely got into the, is it Enneagram? Enneagrams?
Yeah.
We just barely, like, our friends talked to us about that. We're like, we need to take those quizzes and figure out what we are, because it's interesting to learn. I think it is good because, like, some people say it, like, helps our marriage and stuff, too. Like,
yeah.
learning those things.
Oh, it's really helpful to understand communication styles, especially communication styles, because I've realized after 5 years of marriage, Abby and I communicate extremely differently. And she could like look at me in a way that I communicate as, oh, she hates me right now. She doesn't like me. And then I get defensive and I say something weird. And then we end up having an argument when it's like, she was literally looking at me that way just because of this thing. Like it had nothing to do with me. So I think communication, like figuring out how your spouse communicates is so helpful, because I think communication is like the cause of 99% of conflict, honestly.
For sure.
Probably,
And especially when we were married, we got married pretty fast and pretty young, and figuring out how we're supposed to communicate with each other, you know, when you're with someone 24/7, like that, it was hard.
We've
So when you
definitely learned a lot.
And you guys said you got married fast. So like, are we talking like dating for like 2 years and then getting married after like a year, like, because that's what we did, and we got married at 20 and 21.
That's pretty fast.
And people are like, whoa, you guys are
That did
crazy.
not feel fast.
Like when people hear our story, like, you guys are crazy. You guys got married so young. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. 20 and 21, 2 years of dating, 1 year of engagement. So for you guys, what was that?
Do you want to say it?
How long? So
We were met and married within 6 months.
met. Hi, I'm Mitchell. Hi, I'm Haylee.
Let's
6
get
months
married.
later, there's rings on our finger. Get married.
yeah,
Legally
like-
married.
How
But
long did
technically,
it take?
3 months later, there was a ring on my finger.
How many days did it take you from the day you met to say, I want to marry you?
A month, maybe?
Maybe a month.
30 days.
Probably 30
Bro, they
days.
should have made a TV show about
Listen,
you guys.
I know that sounds so crazy, but it was, to me, it was so obvious. Like, I love her. I love her so much.
No, wait. Tell them how we met, though. That's my favorite story.
Okay, so this is actually kind of a cool story. So I was on spring break with my friends, and we were going on a cruise, on a Carnival cruise to
Out of California.
out of California, somewhere in Mexico, and we got to the wherever city we were in California a day early to make sure that just so we didn't miss the cruise, right? So the day before, one of my buddies knew of a wedding that was happening in Malibu. He said, hey, like, there's a wedding going on in Malibu. Like, I kind of want to go to it. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to go to it too. Like, because
They
I
had
have
nothing to
I have
do.
my formal clothes on, or formal clothes in my backpack for the cruise, for those nice dinners, you know? So I decided to go to this wedding and crash
You're
it.
not. Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, how do you just decide to go to a wedding?
I wasn't invited to the wedding. I was like, I'm just gonna go to this wedding and crash
Bro,
it.
that's like Wedding Crashers, dude.
But I was-
you're like OG. You're the reason they made that movie.
In my head, I was like, we're gonna be super respectful. Like, I'm not supposed to be here, but we're not gonna cause a scene. Mostly, we just want to dance and have a nice dinner, hopefully, right? So, I show up to this wedding, and I see this really pretty girl who was Haylee, and
I was a bridesmaid.
she was a bridesmaid, and I'm just there. I'm not supposed to be there. No one knows who I am. And I literally turned to my friends and I'm like, that's the prettiest girl I've ever seen. And they're like, well, you should go ask her out at some point in the night. And I was so scared the whole night to ask her out because she was so pretty and I was like starstruck by this woman. And later in the night, we're eating dinner and I'm like eating dinner at this table with the name where someone's supposed to sit. But I waited till all the seats were filled, and I took a seat where no one was sitting because I'm not supposed to be at this wedding. And I didn't want to be like annoying or anything. Like I was trying to be as respectful as possible. So I sit down, and I'm just eating next to all these people I don't know. And at some point, I got up and I just talked to her because I thought she was pretty. I just said hi, like something super nonchalant. And then later in the night, I really, really, really wanted to ask her out and hang out that night while we were in California. And they were doing the bouquet toss and the garter toss. And they did the bouquet toss first. And she caught the bouquet. And I told all my friends, I'm like, this is perfect. Because if I catch the garter, I can ask her out. It's like, and she has to say yes. Because that's like a fairy tale
This is a
type thing.
movie.
Yeah.
Yes. So they do the garter and all my friends box out all the people behind them, like the people that were supposed to be at the wedding. And there's a picture of it, of all my friends doing this, and I'm just standing in front of them. So the garter just comes straight into my hand, and I catch it. And immediately I'm like, okay, where's that pretty blonde girl? So I start searching for Haylee, and I say, hey, like, you got the bouquet, I caught the garter. You know what this means? Like, we got to go on a date. And she says, I'm so sorry. Like, I would love to, but I can't because I'm not from California. I'm from Utah. And I was like, I'm from Utah. What are you doing here? So
That's so funny.
just
Wait,
the
were
biggest
you-
coincidence.
Was she like respectfully trying to say no? Were
Oh,
you
that's
like,
a good
No,
question.
I was just like, oh shoot, like I wish I could. I thought he was from California because like my friend who was getting married, both of her family sides were from California, but
Okay.
she just lived in Utah at the time. So that's why their wedding was there. And so I was like, oh, I was assuming that he was from California, but he was from Utah, and it's like, oh well, perfect.
Did you think he was cute?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's still cute, I think.
No, because for me, like Abby and I met when we were kids, and so I never like thought of her as anything more than a friend. But then we met through theater and met through this like summer theater. So one summer we met, we were just friends, and then like 4 years later, no, it was 3 years. 3 years later, we had both grown up, we'd both gone through puberty, we'd both had like changed a ton, and I'm like, damn, this girl's pretty. Like, I was like, and then I asked her out. So like that for me It's funny how guys we're so dumb. We're like, oh, that girl's pretty, she's amazing. Like some people can be pretty, but like actually not a good person. So
and not be amazing.
I'm glad that it worked out for us.
Yeah, it did.
Do you know what's so funny? I actually remember we had a girl take a picture of us after, just a random lady, and we still have that picture. But she goes, "Oh, when's the wedding?" That's what she said to us. I'm like, "Well, 6 months later, we were married."
That is epic.
Yeah,
That is literally a movie.
it's literally my
cute.
favorite story
Crashed
ever.
a wedding.
That's so cute.
Caught the bouquet, caught the garter, asked her out.
And
then,
that night we actually, I mean, because he still had nothing to do. I was there, like, I mean, my friend obviously had just gotten married. Like, I'm just still in California. And so that night we actually just hot tubbed together and just chatted. And then he went on his cruise, came home, and we hung out ever since, every day.
Okay, so if you're
That's
watching this
so
podcast right now
Just
and
shoot
you are
your
a guy,
shot.
which is probably rare because this is like all women, but if you're a guy and you're trying to ask a girl out, make sure she ends up being a bridesmaid at the wedding. Make sure that her friends are in on it so that she gets the bouquet. And then when you get the garter, because your friends are in on it too, then you guys can get married, because that's what you guys did.
and it worked out.
Right?
I thought my whole life, I'm like, I'm going to get married off of Tinder, and there's
That's what
nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
But that's
yeah.
what I thought was going to happen. And
Yeah.
then it was just kind of a cool
Fairy
story.
tale.
So, yeah, hung out
That's
every
so
single day.
cool.
Got engaged 3 months later, married 3 months after that. So 6
That's
months
funny
total.
'cause it's funny you mentioned Tinder, because we interviewed Alex and John on this podcast, and they literally met through Tinder, hooking up, and they ended up getting married.
I love that.
So I love that. It's
Also a movie.
Yeah, also a
Also
movie.
a movie.
Different rating on
if
that
you are a
movie.
movie maker, whatever that job title is, you should make a movie off those stories. Two completely different stories.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So 6 months is the total number from when we met and got married. And
And when you got married, was it amazing, or was it hard because you guys didn't know how to live together?
I mean, it was, everything seems like it's been smooth.
yeah,
I mean, when you start living together, I mean, you have things like he still kind of does it. He
What are you
puts the
gonna say?
laundry like 2 feet away from the laundry basket. I'm
Yeah,
like,
Matt does that too. He's
listen,
like, I'm letting it
listen,
dry out.
no, listen,
That's disgusting.
no, listen.
Well, you gotta stop doing
Sometimes
that.
listen.
okay.
There's a reason.
Sometimes you might wear it again if it's not that dirty.
Yes.
Or sometimes
hang it up.
sometimes it is dirty enough if it sits there long enough. So it's like, okay, now it's officially dirty. So there's like a gray area of when laundry should be in the basket or next to it.
There's kind of like
Okay.
a scientific method to it too, because like if you sweat a lot at the gym and your shirt's all wet, you don't want to infect the rest of the laundry with your sweaty shirt. You
I
got to
agree.
put it on top of the basket with the basket closed, so it's not even in there, but
I
it's
agree
like
because
it's
it makes
airing out.
the hamper stink worse.
Bingo. I would give you a high five right now.
I'm happy we're
Everything's
communicating this.
intentional. Everything's intentional that I do with my
Everything's
laundry.
I'm glad we could finally solve this
I'm
mystery for
Now
so
everyone.
everyone
happy
knows
after
why
5
we do
years.
that.
You guys have been married for 5 years?
Well, I guess, how many years is it now? 6? Did we
Yeah.
start our 6th year?
Yeah, we did.
Time flies.
Oh, wow. 6. Okay, we've been married 5.5.
Yeah.
Wow.
So crazy.
Thank you to Chime for sponsoring this portion of our episode. Nothing irks me more than paying for fees. I don't know if you guys have ever bought something online and then you go to pay, but then there's not only taxes, but then there's a shipping fee, or maybe you've gone to buy tickets for a concert and then the price doubles for the tickets when you get to pay for the fees. It's really annoying. Well, Chime thinks that's annoying too. And with Chime, they don't have overdraft fees up to $200. They have no maintenance fees, and you can get paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Join millions of Chime members who are working on financial progress. To date, Chime has spotted members over $32 billion in transactions through SpotMe. Friends give friends a boost. Make progress towards a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/unplanned. That's chime.com/unplanned. Chime feels like progress.
Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank NA or Stride Bank NA, members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
Okay, I'm a nerd, so I have to ask this question. I wrote this down because you said it on a podcast. I had no idea what it was called. Clomid. So Clomid is the medication you were on to get pregnant when you were going through PCOS, right?
Yes.
Clomid. Does that have side effects of causing you to have triplets? Like, is that why you had triplets?
Yes. So, but having triplets on Clomid is extremely rare. And I think that what happened, we talked with our doctor about this, is we have twins that run on both sides of the family.
My dad's a twin.
Yeah. And then PCOS, like, you don't ovulate. And so hormones and all that stuff are already so messed up, you know? And so when I got on Clomid, I mean, it didn't work the first 2 months. And then the third month, it gave me the triplets. So
Gave me the trip.
third time's the charm.
Wow. What is the percentage of people that have triplets on Clomid?
Oh, I think it's like
Very,
0.00.
That's probably
something.
what they say, and out here, everyone on Clomid's getting triplets. Like, hey, I got triplets. You got triplets.
Yeah.
Hey, okay.
So
I mean, people are pretty shocked when they ask like how usually they think it's IVF, because I feel like IVF is more common to have triplets. I've also met people who are spontaneous, who just randomly are trying for their fourth kid, and then
And
they
they
have
accept it.
I
triplets.
actually have heard of that. I actually know someone. That's
Yeah.
my uncle's family. It's crazy.
Yeah, so crazy.
They were
So-
trying for a boy. There was their third or fourth, and
Oh
they
my
got triplet girls. So they have
I
seven
can't
girls.
imagine having
crazy.
an additional one on top of triplets. So I see triplet families with, or even any family, it doesn't matter for triplets, like parents with 4 kids, 5 kids, 6 kids, 7 kids. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is
Rockstar
insane.
parents.
And
They're
wait,
That's insane.
When you guys found out you were pregnant, sorry, I keep going back to this moment, but were you living in your parents' basement at the time? Is that when you found out?
Yeah, so we were renovating the duplex. Like we had bought a duplex, but
Got
we were
it.
renovating it. So we were living in his parents' basement.
Got it.
And then when she found out that we were pregnant with the triplets, she came to us and was like, listen, like stay here for a little bit longer because you guys are gonna need some help. And I'm so grateful that we said yes, because that was the hardest time ever.
Oh my gosh.
They sound like amazing people.
They're awesome.
Because if I I don't know, someone who says stay with me while you have your triplets, like that sounds like a very selfless person to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
So you
my
seem-
sister was also upstairs too. She moved in because she was also in the process of moving somewhere. So my sister was also living
Shut
upstairs. So we
I
had
was so lucky.
like we had a bunch of in-house people helping, and her family came over. So like we had a community
It takes a
helping
village.
us, and
Like,
it
we
literally takes a
have-
village. Yeah.
Guys, I love that. I love how people surrounded you when you were going through that, because that just gets me freaking pumped about humankind. Okay, like
Yeah.
the other day we this is a sore subject. We got stuck in the snow the other
Oh
day.
my
Our car,
gosh, don't
we were
even.
running late for the airport. Car gets stuck in the snow. We can't get out of the snow. I'm knocking on neighbors' doors. We're in Whitefish at the Whitefish ski
don't
resort.
no, please don't. We're gonna have to tell this story later because you're missing so many.
Okay, we'll tell it on our podcast, and we'll tell this will be the 1-minute elevator pitch story. But basically, long story short,
So bad.
all these
Such a
neighbors just
short
came
subject.
up and just started helping us push and started
I have another example of
helping
that.
check on our kids, because our kids were like, Abby was pretty panicked, so then I think our kids got a little scared, and then the neighbors were like just comforting our kids, and like everyone was just being so nice. And I'm like, and this lady just had a cigarette in her hand, and she's like this sweet grandma. Like these are
Cute.
grandparents from Florida that flew in to just enjoy their vacation, and they're out here helping us push our car out of the snow. Okay, so the fact that
Cute.
people surrounded you guys when you needed it most, just like this family, these grandparents from Florida did for us, like it's just, I love people, dude. I love
Yeah.
I
Oh my
love,
gosh.
I love being a human.
Yeah.
I
There's
actually,
a lot
this
of good
just
people.
reminded me, like, we'd have so many random meals and diapers and wipes just showing up at the door. And I wish I could thank every single person that, did all that stuff.
People
But-
would knock on our door and run away, and there would be a pile of diapers like taller than me. No, nothing. And to this day, we don't know who was doing it. People
But
were just being nice.
Fun fact, we literally just this last week bought our very first pack of wipes because we had wipes last us until just barely because
week
of how
ago.
generous
And you have
people
3
were.
kids. Mm-hmm. Wow.
We also, those wipes and diapers at one point took up half our garage.
Yes.
But-
a lot of surge.
We
But it
actually
was
did find
awesome.
out the lady who was behind a lot of it, not all of it, because there's a bunch of anonymous people donating diapers and wipes to us. But Deb Coffee, you donated thousands of diapers to us, so thank you if you're watching
I
this.
know. Yeah.
She is the sweetest
Yes.
woman. So Deb Coffee.
Can everyone spam the comments right now with "Go Deb"? or if you're listening on like Apple, can you just like leave us a review? I don't care what star rating give us. Give us a 1 star. I
No,
literally couldn't care
let's
less.
do 5.
Let's do 5
Give us,
stars.
give us whatever you feel we deserve, and just say "Go Deb." Just say "Go Deb."
Go Deb.
Deb is the best.
Yeah,
Deb is
we
5
love
stars.
Deb.
Thank you,
So
Deb.
lots of
She's
people.
my
Sounds like
neighbor.
a saint.
She's my neighbor growing up, and Deb Coffee, we love you.
That's so
We love
Lots
you,
of
Deb
people
Coffee.
helped. That's awesome.
So, having triplets in your belly, do you have like loose skin? Because I have loose skin like from 1.
Like, it's just, you do?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
You look amazing.
I feel you're so nice. You're so nice. I feel like it was, I mean, it's been gradual, like the healing, you know, but it's amazing what women's bodies
Truly.
can do. Like truly amazing. And I loved being pregnant with them. Surprisingly, like it was painful and stuff. And like Mitchell at night had to help me roll over in bed because they were so heavy. But like,
No, like you need to explain what that was like.
no, literally they were
physically roll
huge.
you?
And like to walk around, I literally had to have like a belt, and like towards the end, I'd had to hold my belly when I walked around because it was just so crazy. But my favorite part of being pregnant was just like they had personalities when they were in my stomach.
Totally.
Like
totally.
Tommy was so feisty, and she's so feisty now. Like it's just so crazy
I told Matt
how
that.
you could tell.
1000%.
And I could tell each baby. It was
Oh, yeah.
so weird. And I talk to people about it, and like they know, you know, but it's just, yeah, pregnancy is crazy. And being pregnant with triplets was nuts. It just feels like a dream, honestly.
And you made milk for 3 babies?
Yes. I exclusively pumped for 14 months for the triplets. I was, overfilled the NICU freezer.
She filled.
I was just a human cow, honestly. Like I pumped enough milk at the beginning for 8 babies.
I think it's called octuplets. She was producing that much milk. Like I can't even explain to you guys. We had to buy deep freezers
Yeah.
For our crush.
because we filled up our entire fridge, our entire freezer, and then we had to buy a deep freezer to start storing it. Like, I mean,
Yeah, it was
hundreds
I mean,
of gallons.
My body just knew somehow, you know, and I just felt at the time that like breast milk was so important for them because they were in the NICU, and I was like, they just need the extra, whatever extra I could do, you know? And so I pumped on top of that, and it was crazy, but
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally know the pumping game and the breastfeeding game.
Yeah, it's rough.
We ourselves got a deep freezer. It's crazy. But
It
you've
is crazy.
since got new boobs.
thank goodness.
That's why you brought this up. You're trying to talk about.
I'm trying to figure this out. Because
I
I'm
love
going
that.
back and forth. I'm like, do I do it? Do I not? Do I wait till I'm for sure done? Like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm entertaining it. I got a consultation.
Yeah.
And I left feeling not super excited.
Oh, shoot.
I know. Wait, now I got insecure. Like, what if that person...
Well, you said that was because the
What if that,
technician.
no, don't say anything. What
okay.
if they saw this?
I won't trash talk this person.
No.
Sorry. I'm sure you're great.
No, I think she was great. I think it's an internal battle that I need to sit on for a little longer. But you're happy with it?
Very happy with it. I was at the point after I was done breastfeeding the kids that I felt like I couldn't wear a sports bra. I couldn't wear a bikini. Like I couldn't wear tops without, feeling self-conscious.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I mean, it made me feel better. It made me happier. And so I was like, you know what, you do you. Whatever makes you happier, just do it.
Yeah.
So
Okay. That's good to hear.
yeah.
Because my friend told me, I totally agree with her, so I don't think she said anything wrong, but she was like, you had the craziest breast transformation of anyone that I know that's had children. I was like, yes, thank you for acknowledging me.
What's funny
I
about
feel seen right now.
what's funny is like everyone you would get like hate comments, people on social media. I don't know why this is, but I don't know if this ever happened to you guys, but people on social media will sometimes say not very nice stuff. I don't know why.
care about that,
I don't
but-
really actually know why that happens, but anyway, people would be like, "Whoa, this girl got a boob job, all this, blah, 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 blah," and they were natural. They were literally natural, and people would roast you. They're like, "She got a boob job. She probably sucks. She's probably insecure." And it's like, "Whoa, everybody, she has completely authentic boobs. These are real,
That's hilarious.
She probably sucks.
not fake." It was so
people
weird. It was
say
so
is
weird.
so
It was like,
crazy.
guys, these are real boobs. Why are we like dogging on my wife about her boobs?
No, I just had to ask you that, mom to mom, woman to woman. I was like,
I love them.
That is
you know,
encouragement.
that's just how I feel about it. But
That's awesome.
Mitch, how do you feel?
Mitchell loves them.
I think they're great. I don't.
I'm sorry. I need to excuse myself.
I'm very pro.
I swear, I've only drank this proppy today. I swear.
But she came to me. She goes, I think I want a boob job. I was like, yeah.
He's like trying to hold it in, how his excitement.
You're like that. I love that for
I
you,
think that's a
babe.
good idea.
That's so funny. It's
Yeah.
really common in Utah too, right? I've heard that it's like the plastic surgery.
Wait, is Utah the capital
I've
of
heard
plastic
it is
surgery?
for Botox, but I don't know about plastic surgery.
okay.
I mean, I love
Maybe-
Botox too. I don't know.
Everyone looks so nice, and they're all everyone
I
looks
need
so
an
nice and they
explanation
act
for why
so
everyone's
nice.
so beautiful in Utah.
Maybe we should have moved to Utah. Maybe moving to Arizona was a mistake.
Come to Utah. It's so
Yeah,
fun.
you should come to Utah. We love Utah, and I don't even know why I love Utah so much, but it is.
Yeah, it's great.
The
There's
weather's,
lots of
the weather's
families
great. Like, we
and-
love the
Swig.
snow.
There's a
We
swig.
love soda. We love swig. Do you guys know there's a million types of swigs, like knockoff swigs, like
Oh,
competitors
yeah.
to
Oh, yeah.
swig? Oh, you guys have it here in Arizona.
We
have
do,
Swig.
and I love
There's
it.
a lot of other ones.
I put coffee creamer in my soda now, and it's delicious.
It's so good.
It actually is really good.
I don't know about that one.
What? You don't like coffee creamer in your soda? What the frick's wrong with you?
I don't think to do that. I like Swig, but I get the ones that are like the strawberry water like flavor.
Oh, those are good too, like the
Strawberry
water
Breeze.
flavors.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
those
just
are good
can't
too.
handle how expensive swig is. So Haley, I remember she came back with the soda, whatever. And I was like, what is it? What was it? Like your
I don't
favorite
know,
drink?
just
Just
like
very
my
common,
classic.
like coconut and
Dr.
Coke or
Pepper.
something. Dr. Pepper, whatever. Dirty Dr.
See,
Pepper,
that's
whatever it's called.
common for you, but like I feel like people like living in New York are like, what the crap are they doing? Coconut
know.
and
Well, it's
Dr.
because people in Utah don't drink coffee. Like, that's why. Like, I think that's what. Isn't that why?
I
Like,
don't know.
the
It's
soda
still
shops
fun.
became
I
a big
know.
Coffee
thing.
and I
I don't
still
know
like
why
it.
it's so.
It's
Everyone
just kind of like
loves
a
it.
refreshing drink, you know,
See,
like
like-
the
Fun.
carbonation.
Yeah.
Like,
See, you guys make
nice
me
little
want to
mom outing.
convert to LDS, but then I feel like I'd get kicked out like the next day for drinking coffee. So
No.
I probably shouldn't. No, like I want to be so. Like, you guys are so nice. You guys are so nice.
You're
Thank
so
you.
nice. You guys are so
Thank you.
sweet.
But how much was her drink?
It was just
I don't
I don't
remember.
know, but like I just think like a can of soda is like what a $1 at McDonald's to get the big.
Oh yeah.
And then swig is like $6, and I'm like, why don't you just go get 6
Because it's yummy.
drinks at McDonald's and then buy like a little pump
Hey,
thing with
you can
coconut.
never underestimate the power of a special drink.
It's
Yeah.
true.
It can really turn a whole day around. It can do a lot of other things for you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
It's
my
totally
mom
fine.
run.
Yeah,
the
it's her
mom
mom run, but I've always just thought, what if we just bought the coconut thing at our house?
Not the same.
yeah,
Not the
you
same.
You don't want to tiptoe into that area.
Yeah, I just let her do it because
Yeah.
apparently there's a big difference. I don't know.
That
I don't
is
know.
sweet. I'm curious, like, what are things that people unintentionally, like, say that are unintentionally, like, rub you the wrong way as parents to triplets, or like,
Oh gosh.
like, are things people like they're like accidentally being insensitive, or like you're like, this is just something that we hear all the time and it's actually just kind of annoying at this point?
How did you conceive them?
Oh,
We're just like, what?
I mean, I'm used to that one now, but like people, the worst thing that I hear is like people saying that's my worst nightmare. I'm like, I'm sorry, but they're a blessing for me. Like, I'm so, and I can see that. Like, I'm not going to sit and get mad at someone. I was just like, oh, like, I love them so much. You know, like,
To be fair, when we found out we were having triplets, like we already said, we weren't that excited. So I understand that people don't want triplets, but now that we have them, it's like, well, you know, let's say like you're living my worst nightmare. And it's like, well, it's actually like the world's greatest thing. And I wish everyone had litters like we did.
Yeah,
You know,
it's literal.
so yeah,
Literal,
it's
literal.
awesome. But we do get that a lot.
do you want to tell them what that guy said to you in Costco that one time?
Oh yeah, so Costco. We go to Costco, and for some reason, everyone just feels so they can ask us whatever they want. It's like, we're like, hey, how did you conceive? It's like that. Those are real. Like,
Wait, so did you guys have sex to have your children? Is
they
that how this
say stuff like that, and I'm like,
People go too far at Costco. I don't know what it is.
But this guy comes up to me and he goes, "Are those triplets?" And I'm like, "Yes, they are." And he goes, "Are you snipped?" Just like that fast.
That's
Just
what
immediately after, and I'm like, no. Nice to meet you.
Sorry, I did not like. Did
Like,
that
what's your
did that
name?
piss you
Like-
off when he said that? Did that make you really mad?
No, because we
We just started laughing. Like we don't like causing any, you know, like we're just like chill, whatever. We're never gonna see this guy again. But it was just kind of like, dude, why did you just say that?
yeah. Like, no, I'm not.
Are
Did
you
that just
are you
happen?
snipped?
Yeah.
What a way to meet somebody. How's it going? Are those triplets? Are you snipped?
No, I'm not
Literally,
kidding.
that's how
That's
it
the
went.
exact sequence.
How many seconds are we talking? Was this like
5 seconds.
5 seconds?
And then it was like, oh, that's crazy. Nice to meet you, Con. He's gonna go
Never
buy
seen him
a
again.
Did he have the
$5
Costco
tissue
chicken?
chicken.
He probably got the $5 Costco chicken.
He probably
Who's one of
everyone
those
has one.
guys?
Everyone has one in their card.
Do you guys get the $5 Costco
Oh, yeah.
chicken? You do.
Oh yeah, so
$5.
good.
You're one of those guys too.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Do you guys
Abby
not
doesn't
buy
like
those?
We actually do not buy the $5 Costco chickens.
It feels wrong to my soul.
We feel like we're hurting the chickens.
no, that's
Oh yeah, Abby. I care about animal rights. Abby doesn't give a frick about animal
Matt,
rights.
shut up.
Okay,
Do you guys
let's
eat meat?
transition from
Yes.
the chicken
Yes.
to the hot dog. Do you buy the dollar
No,
hot dog?
here, I don't get the
We get the
chickens because they
pizza.
taste like hot dogs.
You think the chicken tastes like hot dogs?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's okay. I was pregnant, so maybe that just had something to
that
do with it.
messes with
I
you.
didn't know how to taste.
And
but
now that you said that, I always think about hot dogs when I eat the Costco chicken.
so I
just
ruined him
can't.
too.
I can't
'Cause
do
I was
it.
like, Matt, I was pregnant. We were eating a Costco chicken. I was like, this tastes exactly like hot dogs right now. He's like, he's like, it does.
Bro, I want to see their
Okay, now
balance
I'm
sheet
nervous
though.
to try the chicken
We
again.
haven't bought
No,
one.
you
Everyone listening to
don't
this is gonna be
scare
ruined
her.
on the
Don't scare her from the chicken.
No, bro, you just know those chickens are like pumped with hormones and freaking
I
whatever.
don't-
You
I
have
know,
no
I
idea.
should look into
You
that.
don't want to read the label on
I don't
that.
want to look into it. I don't want to
Don't
think about it.
Don't look at
Innocence is
the.
bliss.
Don't watch the food videos where they show like all the chickens shoved
should've
together.
stopped.
in
Stop,
a
stop,
room.
stop.
Oh, no.
That's so sad. Anyway, we should probably try to eat more vegetables.
I probably should look more into that stuff because, yeah, that does make me
I
sad.
don't want to.
Yeah. Okay. Good talk.
Well, day to day now. Are you guys like you're getting out more, or you're like still you're in the house?
I mean, it still is a hassle to get out of the house. And honestly, like, it kind of scares me too, like being a mom by myself with triplets
Oh, yeah.
and like loading. I mean, any mom with a couple of kids, it makes you nervous kind
One
of putting
kid.
them into the car and then like turning around to get the other one.
Oh.
And, you know, there's scary people in the world,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like taking them places by myself that are like, I don't know, toddler playgrounds that are enclosed that I
Yes.
know really well, or
Yes.
like meeting people, but I don't take them out by myself super often. And that's why I always come up with things like to do at the house. Like we have this indoor bouncy house and like stair slides and just fun things to entertain them there, because people don't understand it's so hard to take them out of the house.
Can you send me your link? It's
I've
probably
been
linked
wanting
on
to
your.
get that,
It's
but
probably
you-
linked somewhere. But your stair slide, I saw that
I
on your
love
TikTok.
it.
I want to get it for our
We
kids.
love it.
They would love it. Have you gone down the
Oh,
stair
yeah.
Yes.
slide? And
So
adults
fun.
can go down it.
Oh yeah, but
Okay,
you
have to be careful because adults have broken their tailbones on that thing.
Stop! There's no way I can get
it's
on that
so
thing.
fast.
My
I have
aunt
a messed up
snapped her
tailbone.
foot in half when she was going down a slide at a house we stayed at in Branson, Missouri. So I'm from Missouri, and we would always take trips there with all my cousins. And so yeah, you're right. Slides are very dangerous
For adult bodies.
Because my aunt just like was like, I'm sending it, everybody. We're like, yeah, go for the slide. 'Cause
Oh
it's
my
like
gosh.
it's kind of cool when your like vacation home has a slide in it, and she like her foot
Gosh.
was like over here. It was like, and the bone was like sticking out. It was pretty gnarly. So that was a fun.
Anyway,
that was a great family
Just
I
vacation.
pat
hate
the
that
bottom.
stuff.
You'll be fine.
Okay.
That's so crazy.
It's so fun though. So yeah, like I
Sometimes-
always try and come up with a lot of activities for them at home just because
Oh,
it's hard.
They and your children wear helmets still.
They did wear helmets.
Okay.
So because they were born so early, like, I mean, they were laying in those incubators a lot. Like you can only hold them for
Yeah.
like there's specific times and stuff that you can hold them. And so, I mean, they were laying on their heads a lot, and your head's forming at that stage. So it's
they
moldable
couldn't
and you
they
couldn't.
couldn't move their head from one side to another. So if they laid like this for a couple hours and their head, you know, they have all the
It
soft
starts
spots.
forming.
It literally starts to flatten your head. It's very common actually.
It is
So,
common. Like
uh-huh.
even full term babies will sometimes
Yeah.
like lay down in the crib for too long like this, and they'll get a flat back head, you know, back of their head. And so they wore helmets for, gosh, how long? I don't remember, but it was honestly such a blessing, because when they were in that stage of like pulling themselves up onto things and
Totally.
falling over, I'm like, oh my gosh, this has
Totally.
saved my life, because I wouldn't be catching kids from falling over all the time.
Totally.
So yeah, helmets were
Honestly,
nice.
We,
I love
we
them.
actually talk about that. Matt's like, I'll take the kids for a bike ride and then take them to the park. And he's like, sometimes just leave their helmets on them because at the park they fall down all the time. Or like,
yeah.
he's like, it's probably saved them from some major injuries.
There
like,
was a time where Griffin face planted into it, like one of those, like, you know, those McDonald's poles they have at the drive-thru. It's like a big yellow pole, so you don't hit like the McDonald's sign.
This was at McDonald's.
It was not at McDonald's, but
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
just
like-
like one of those poles. It was like one of those like near a parking lot, so that cars can't like drive into.
Oh, yeah.
By accident, drive into like a playground.
Yeah.
He straight up is like running and like trips and just like whacks his head on the pole. Thank goodness he had his helmet on, because I just never took it off. I mean, I was, you know, when you're a parent, you're busy and you're like, yeah, I'll just leave that helmet on. We're gonna be here 20 minutes and we're gonna go back on the bike. But dude, like that helmet has saved my son.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
So good.
So they had them for over a year.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it was a long time. It was probably about a year.
Okay.
Maybe. Elliot's was for sure a year, because he actually had. So Elliot had a different condition. It's called craniosynostosis, kind of a long word. But his skull was, you know how babies have soft spots on their heads? So his skull fused early, and he had to have surgery on that to like remove part of his skull so his brain could grow.
Oh, wow.
So he wore his helmet longer, and he
Big
still
deal.
has checkups for that. But he's totally fine now. Like it was scary at the time, but I'm so grateful for modern medicine, honestly, because now his brain can grow normally, you know?
It's amazing.
But
And our kids have normal shape, like, it's weird to say, but just like normal shaped heads. Because if not, so one of our girls, her head was, because she was always on one of her sides.
Yeah.
So they called it a toaster head.
Because it's literally just flat on
Really
both sides.
skinny.
I've
and
never
tall.
heard of that before. A toaster head?
Toaster head. So the helmet would put a lot of pressure on the top of her head, and there was no pressure on the sides. So when her head was growing because of her brain, it would hit the top of the helmet and he'd start to grow to the side.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
so it literally
Way.
shapes your head to be a.
And is
Just
that
a
literally just an aesthetic thing? Like, does it matter if your head is a toaster head?
They don't know. We
I
asked
think
them that.
I think it was an aesthetic thing. Like, I mean, Elliot's was obviously medical, but yeah, I think that it just makes it look normal, you know?
Yeah, well, I think most people want to look like everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, most people don't want to be like, yo, if you could have a toaster head or
Yeah.
a regular head, which one do you choose?
Yeah,
Like, most people
don't
probably
want
wouldn't
that.
be like, you know what, sign me up for toaster head.
And they
you
gave
know?
us the option. They said, do you want to do this? It's not covered by insurance, but do you want to
Oh.
go forward with this? Because we don't know if it will have any effects at all. And we're like, well,
Yeah.
yeah, because I think they would be happy with it when they're older, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Definitely worth it.
I forget if it was me or one of my siblings, but I think my dad, when one of us was younger, was worried about like some feature. I don't know if it's my like ears or something, but he just didn't like. As a parent, you want your kids to fit in with everybody else because you don't want them to get like made fun of or bullied in school. I totally see why you guys would put a helmet on your kid because you just want your kid to have the best life. You know?
Yeah.
Totally.
That's how much was that? If that wasn't covered, so the $7 million hospital bill didn't cover the toaster head thing.
It should
I actually
have.
don't remember how
I
much
don't
helmets
remember
were.
how much it was either.
Like, I have no idea. I can't
Because
remember.
Elliot's was covered.
Yeah, so
Because his
technically
was
only,
surgically.
yeah.
So technically it was only the girls that we had
I remember
to pay
that
for.
they did help us out a lot though. Because I don't know, they
I
just
think they had some sort of like discounts or like something.
because there's multiple kids with helmets.
Oh,
yeah.
So they're like, okay, you have 3 kids. I'm sorry, you have
Yeah.
3 kids that need helmets. So we'll cut you. It won't be $1 million. It'll just be $500,000
Yeah.
for this.
Like
For
we
the
got
I
helmets.
know.
like a 2-for-1 deal. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Wow,
it was
that is crazy. Like when you have to start paying, like now when they start turning 2, sometimes you have to start paying for things
Wait, 2
like
weddings.
activities, like
Yeah.
going into college, like all of those, like, you know, who knows where life will lead them, but it's gonna just go from 0 to trip 3
Yeah.
times.
What I hate right now is clothes because it's not like we can hand them down.
Hand-me-downs.
You know, I'm like,
That
I have to buy
sucks.
all
Yeah.
3 at the same time, and then they grow out of their stuff so fast. I'm like, oh, but you know, it's fine.
It's
But
crazy.
at least like your bench though, like maybe I don't know if you do like gender neutral stuff at all, but like with the gender neutral clothes, you could probably just have a bank of that because any kid could wear it. Like a kid, you know, has boogers all over his shirt, and you're like, we need to take that shirt off. Like you just grab from the bench, the
Yeah.
gender
Matt,
neutral
you
bench.
put our kids in the most random clothes. Sometimes I leave for like an hour and I come back and I'm like, do you know Augie was wearing a 6 to 12 month long sleeve shirt the other day?
Well, there's a new style for 2-year-olds
I was
and
doing
1-year-olds now.
Augie is big. He's so chubby. And 6 to 12 months, he is actually 18 months. And I was like, what is he wearing? His whole belly's sticking out. And I was like, how'd you even get this on him?
Well, you guys heard about the new
But
style,
if
right?
it's sitting in the closet, Matt thinks it works.
So
Yeah.
it's there's this new style for 2-year-olds. It's called pajama casual, and it's where when your kid blows through their pajama pants, you put them in some khakis, and then it's like their business casual, but also in pajamas at the
They
same
have the
time.
pajama top on, khaki, like
Yeah.
the most
It's a
wacky
vibe.
stuff. I'm
It's a
like,
vibe.
what
Definitely
is-
never done that. Have we?
You sometimes put them. I think it's a dad thing. I don't know.
No, Augie
Yeah.
had that tiny shirt on and he was wearing Griffin's jeans.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine the look happening right now. I was like, what is going on?
The last thing I wanted to talk about with you guys is you mentioned somewhere, I forget where it was, but you mentioned that you guys witnessed a miracle with your kids. And I feel like, I don't know, me personally, I'm like, whoa, like you don't really hear about miracles happening every day. So I just want to know that story and I want to know what happened.
They did so many tests on them when they were that little. Like they have to have heart tests, brain tests, lung tests, all these things to make sure like that they can intervene if they need to.
Yeah.
Things that you never think about. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they did that brain scan and found those movement issues that your kids have movement issues. It could be anything from like a hand twitch to cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
And we will not know until they get older. And of course, we're sobbing. It was the worst moment of our lives. We asked if there was any way that it could be reversed, if there was anything we could do to like help them to not have this, and they told us no. And
This is for life.
that this is for life. And
And the severity of it is locked in. Right. So like you
Yeah.
can't make it better.
Yeah.
And so we honestly, like, it was, like I said, the worst moment ever. And we were devastated for how long? 2 weeks, maybe? It felt like an eternity, honestly. I don't know. And they went back a couple weeks later and did the exact same scan, and it was gone. And it was only for the 2 kids. Lennon didn't have it, but Tommy and Elliot did. And it was completely healed. And we have no idea what happened.
For both of them, too.
Both of them.
The
Didn't you-
doctors have no
Crazy.
clue. what
Didn't you
happened.
say, I think, I don't know if this was on a podcast or on a TikTok video, but didn't you say that, like, your father-in-law
Yeah.
prayed over your kids?
Can I tell that
Yeah,
part?
you talk about it.
So yeah, they tell us the news that our kids have this, and it could be severe, or like I mentioned earlier, just an arm that doesn't function correctly, or a leg. Million different possibilities. But as a parent, your head goes to the worst one.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what we were thinking. So I was holding Tommy at the time, and I started to like hyperventilate, where the docters had to take my Tommy from me because I was so terrified for my kids.
Yeah.
You do not want to get that news. And I called my dad, and my family came to the hospital, and he gave one of all of them, but he gave 2 of our kids a blessing, put his hands on their head to bless them, that they would be able to run, play, and, you know, experience things that other kids get to experience. Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, they were tiny 2-pound kids. So he put, you know, like 2 little fingers on their head, and he gave them a blessing, which is basically just like a prayer to bless the child. And in the prayer, he mentioned, like, bless them that they would be able to run, walk, and experience normal things that other kids experience.
Yeah.
And he did it for those 2 kids that were told that they were diagnosed with that, right? And 2 weeks later, they do the exact same scan, and it was gone. And I asked, like, what happened? And they said, we do not know, because on the scan before, that, like, there's all these white dots, and that means, you know, that's going to cause this issue with your kids, and those white dots are gone, and we can't explain it. I was like, well, give me a reason. And they said the only reason is that it was a straight miracle, because there's no other explanation why this scan doesn't and this one does, because it's irreversible. You can't go back in time. It's there for life. So yeah, that was the miracle that we experienced, and we believe in miracles because of that.
Wow.
It was amazing. To this day, that was one of the, because Haylee was in the hallway because she didn't want to hear the news about how the updated scan was. Like, we have basically what the updated scan was. We now have more details of what this is, right? Because their brain was a little bit bigger. Just they could get more details, and the answer was like, it's gone. I was like, what do you mean it's gone? You said it couldn't be gone. So I ran in the hallway, bawling my eyes out, couldn't see straight. Basically tackled her. She's like, what? I'm like, it's gone. And you didn't even believe me because it was
just
irreversible.
shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, like, yeah, it's just amazing. Like, I've just never experienced anything like it before. And so it was just super special.
That's just like parenthood. I feel like highs and lows, and like just making it through. And like, I'm so glad you guys have each other, like, through it all. And you guys seem so solid and so sweet. And I already feel like we're friends. So this has been.
Billy, can I give you guys a hug? I want to give.
Okay, well now I'm gonna hug.
I feel like we just bonded everybody. This is great.
That's really
Sorry, we've actually never hugged at the end of a podcast.
Well, yeah, it's so
Like,
special.
That's so good. Haylee and Mitch, thank you for coming on Unplanned. Where can people
Wait, I
find you
have
guys?
one last question.
Okay.
Do you guys think you're gonna have baby number 4?
It could be baby 4, 5, 6. That's
Oh, that's right.
4, 5, 6?
I'm just saying, because there's a chance that there's a bigger chance of having multiples.
Oh, I've heard that.
Shut
So,
up.
I mean, it is just like still up and down. Like, we don't know, you know?
Okay.
There's moments
She's
where
downplaying it. She will randomly come to me and be like,
I want another.
I think I want another one. I'm like, are you sure?
But then there's days where I'm like, heck no. Like,
I think that's how it's always like. Once you start having more, you're like,
okay, never mind. Like, I hear that all the time. They're just like, we are gonna do it, and then we're like, never mind. I'm scared.
Yeah.
Like, you just have one bad
It
day.
depends on the hour. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the hour, honestly.
Okay, well, it's not a harsh no. You know,
No.
you didn't
No,
you didn't get the snip, so
It's I'm not snipped, so it's
even that
everybody
could be
does that.
reversed. So y'all are young. Well,
If you guys like this episode, go follow Haylee and Mitch right now. They both are on Instagram. They're both on TikTok.
Thanks so much for having us, you
yeah.
guys. This is so
yeah,
fun.
thank
Coming
you
to
for coming
Arizona.
and doing this.
Thanks for leaving your children to come talk to us.
this was fun.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See ya.